Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at the vintage collection release of Knight of Ren. Don't know why he doesn't have an actual name. Maybe it's a spoiler to give us a name, since the Knights of Ren is a whole group, but nevertheless, that's what this guy is. Card art is looking really nice. Some sort of desert planet. Maybe it's Jakku, maybe it's somewhere else. Looks like we got the Knight of Ren in some sort of battle-ready pose. Through the blister, of course, you do see your included action figure. Backside, top right corner, you can see he's number 155 in the vintage collection line. Below that, 10 other figures that are also available in this line. Well, 9, since one of those being shown is the Knight of Ren. And then that bottom half is all a bunch of legal information. Taking a look at the figure out of the packaging, and it's really a great looking figure. Based on what I'm seeing on the card art, it looks like he's translated very well into an action figure. And I gotta say, it's a pretty substantial piece. He's got a lot of weight to him. There's a lot of plastic involved here. The outer cloak that he has on, you've got 2 pieces to it. Top part, which is what you're seeing wrapped on top of his head, and then coming down into these little flappy pieces that is glued on. Nothing here is removable. Great detailing to it. Lots of wrinkles, folds, some seams in there. As you get on the back side of these little scarf-like pieces, it even looks like, some of it was stitched together, like you got some seam breakage in there. Plus, as you get farther down to the bottom, it fades into these little muddy patches being painted on there. I love the helmet design or face mask design. Pretty nice, simple sculpting for that, too. You got a deeper gloss black painted in for the eyes and a little spot there right in the middle where the nose would be. Some bits of silver painting off to the side of the face. It's all looking pretty good and placed right where it needs to be. Draping along the back is going to be the second part of his outer robes or his cloak. Here also, some great sculpting, some very nice folds to that plastic being placed on there, so it drapes very well. Same as on the scarf pieces as you get down to the bottom. Some great mud painting in here, some nice brown. Definitely gets a lot heavier as it gets to the very bottom of that cloak. And this back piece is not removable, so that is staying on there. Now, unfortunately, with the bulk of this cape being placed on the back side of the figure, it does make him very back heavy. So the figure definitely wants to fall back on you, and you're going to have to really work to kind of lean him forward a bit to get this figure to stay standing the way you want. Or just place him on a figure stand. Sculpting for the upper half of the body is, it's a simple figure. It just seems to be a lot of cloth. But detail through here looking very good. You can definitely make out the various layers of fabric that are being draped across the body. The bulk of the coloring is all black, but as you can see through that upper chest, you got some fading of some white paint. I can't tell if that's just supposed to be some highlight painting or something. Based on the photo that I'm seeing on the card, it does seem like there's some white mixed in on this costume. On his forearms, I love this gauntlet detailing that they've got going on. Those silver bits painted very nicely, and they're even raised up off of the forearms. So it definitely gives the figure some nice texture through here. So that really works well for me. Just on the inside part of that forearm, you can see the straps of those gauntlets being sculpted in there. And plus a different paint job to go along with those straps. So it makes it stand out just a little bit. Along the waist, you can kind of see a small belt painted in there, or sculpted in, I should say, with some sort of silver detailing being done in front. And then getting down through the legs of the figure, pretty good fabric sculpting being done here. Some nice wrinkles placed in. Looks like he's got a little kneecap protection going on. And as you get down on the lower part of his leg to his boots, some more mud painting being applied. Not as strong as what we're getting on the cape. I'm pretty okay with that, but at least it starts to get a little more dirtier as you get to the bottom of the figure. And much like we saw on the forearm, he's got some similar shin protection going on here. Some great detailing being done for the sculpting of those. And you're still getting, it looks like some silver painting underneath, but still with that brown wash on top. As for articulation, this one hit the limits of my stop motion ability, so I'm just going to do it the old way. As for the head, you get your full swivel, and really, aside from these little strap things getting in the way of kind of being able to do a quick, smooth motion, you can indeed swivel that all the way around. Great range of motion forward and back. It is going to bounce back a little bit on you from the pressure on these front straps. Plenty of nodding side to side. There too, the pressure is going to push back a bit. With this back cloak on, you're not getting a full rotation on the arms, but they do lift up, still pretty high. I think you'd get what you want out of that. And then, of course, the shoulders do articulate out. And I don't think there's much hindrance there, so you're pretty much getting a straight 90 degrees. You got your 90-degree bend at the elbows, and then, of course, no problem with your rotation at that point. Both wrists do swivel. And then both wrists also have some up and down motion. Unfortunately, it seems that mine's fused a little bit, so I'm actually just flexing at that little pinpoint that inserts into the forearm. However, on his left hand, I've got no problem moving that up and down. At the waist, he's going to do a full swivel. And then he's got just a little bit of crunching forward and back, and good range going side to side. As for the legs, at this hip joint, he's fused in there. It'll rotate around, but I can't bring this leg forward. I can on his right leg. It's very tight, but it will come almost straight out and about that far back. And aside from your rotation at the top of the hip, right here in the thigh, you should have some rotation. I can't get mine to turn. Hopefully you all have better luck out there with your figures. As for the knee, you got a 90-degree bend there. With this little kneecap piece, it does hinder, a full rotation, but I definitely think you're getting what you want out of that. Swivel at the ankle, and then it hinges forward that far, and then of course goes back. So for accessories, he's got a single staff axe. Not sure what this weapon would be called. Just a touch of assembling to do out of the packaging. You just slide that axe onto the top of the staff, and you're in business. To me, at least, the detailing within the sculpt is looking pretty good. I like the design of the axe at the top. Fairly decent paint job to go along with it. And then as you get down to the staff itself, you got 3 little sections here painted in with red with some gold trim running around the side. I do wish the gray of the staff matched the top of the axe a little bit better. Once you get past the axe at the top, it does seem to look a little bit more toyish than the axe itself. With the articulation you're getting in the hands, no problem displaying this figure with a double-handed pose. So overall for me, this is a great looking figure. Unfortunately, the figure is very back heavy, so you might have a hard time getting him to stand the way you want. And like I said, on mine, a lot of the joints are pretty stiff. Hopefully that's something a lot of you out there aren't going to run into. Now the straps coming down from the top of the head do tend to get in the way if you're trying to do any meaningful poses with the figure. If you work with them a bit, you can achieve some head tilts and turns. For me, I'm getting what I want out of it. I generally tend to lean to not wanting soft goods placed on a figure because it doesn't always work out well in terms of the way it looks. But I'm sure there's a fair amount of people out there that would prefer that they did do the soft goods. And since we know the Knights of Ren is a whole group of characters, I gotta say I do hope that means we're gonna get the others. It'd be a bummer if Hasbro only releases one Knight of Ren and then we don't get the rest. So that wraps up this review. Definitely let me know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching.